Assemblyman Paul Kanitra is a Republican representing New Jersey's 10th legislative district since 2024. He's from Point Pleasant Beach, where he previously served as mayor. Here to talk about everything that happened in Trenton. Let's talk. In fact, first we say good morning to Assemblyman. We have a new
Morning,
GOP
Kim.
chair selection here. Good morning, Christine Hanlon, who defeated our friend who's been on the show here many times, Rosemary Becky, also Steve Lonigan, to succeed Glenn Paulson. So talk about that. What was that like? Were there fireworks? Was it calm? Is there support behind Christine? What was the situation like?
Well, it's funny that you say that because in terms of what it was actually like on the inside where the sausage was getting made, as a sitting state assemblyman, one of the few Republican elected officials left standing in New Jersey, I don't even know myself because it was kind of like the epitome of a secret society meeting last night. I talked to some of the candidates beforehand. They weren't even allowed to tell you where they were at. Coincidentally, they were at the Hibernian Club in Hamilton. Doesn't that even sound like a cloak and
Oh,
daggers type place, right? They gathered together. All the cardinals of the NJGOP, we'll call them, the 42 state committee men and state committee women. And then the papal smoke went up last night, and they ordained Christine Hanlon. And that we're in a tough spot as the NJGOP, and the secrecy of the process in general. I think maybe wasn't the best look for us when we need to become the populist party. We need to become the party more and more of the working class guy, of the masses that's out there. So I certainly would love to see it done a little differently in the future.
yeah, it's like, and I love the terminology you used, by the way. I was thinking more in terms of carabinieri as opposed to cardinals, but it all kind of works the same. But yeah, you're right. This is not the way. If you want to be welcoming and open to everybody, you don't meet at the Hibernian Club. Not the Irish folks are great, God bless them, but you should be in some kind of a public forum where everybody could be there and take part. Certainly, and we're seeing the same thing in New York State for the Republicans. And the same thing in a lot of other states. I have friends in California. In fact, our show now airs, our first hour airs in California. Our anchor out there, Jeff Bond, tells us it's the same thing. 40% of the state of California voted for President Trump, but there is like zero representation of the Republican Party, might as well not even exist in the state. It's unreal. They've kind of just given up. And it sort of
Yeah,
feels that way. Oh, look at that. I just lost my background for a second. It kind of feels that way for New Jersey as well. And that's kind of sad. But the way to combat having an election of like the incoming Governor Sherrill is not to become secretive.
agreed. Look, politicians easily forget that the general public hates politicians, right? For us to actually be approachable, we've got to institute some real reforms in our party, right? We came into this election, and all of us, myself included, all the way up to Jack Ciattarelli, thought that we were going to sneak by and win the governor's race. We thought we were going to pick up somewhere between 3 and 5 seats in the assembly, and we couldn't have been more off. Right? I mean, we were absolutely slaughtered in this last election, and there's no way to sugarcoat that. I'm down to myself and 23 of us in the assembly. We lost the gubernatorial race by double digits. And for that to change, how are we going to appeal to the rank and file person, to the Trump voter who doesn't feel like they're a Republican, to the independent, who is tired of being taxed to death, but for some reason lost that messaging in the gubernatorial race and was blaming Republicans for our rising energy costs, right? And part of that is the institution itself. So there's going to be a lot of challenges for the new chairwoman, for Christine Hanlon, and how the process occurred. Starts things off a little bit in the wrong direction, because the state committee men and the state committee women, in many ways, are tied closely with the county chairs, right? And those county chairs have so much influence over how most of them vote. I'm not saying all of them; they're independent people, but generally, the way that county chair wants is generally the way that the county committee man and county committee woman goes, and that's the same the situation that we're dealing with at the local level. For you to win the endorsement of your local Republican organization, win the endorsement of your county Republican organization, you have to kiss the ring a lot of times. And that tampons down young candidates. It disenfranchises dynamic individuals. It tends to elevate in New Jersey party lackeys sometimes, who don't necessarily have the merits to stand on their own. And when you see people get disenfranchised, you wind up just getting people who are in it for the power and all the wrong reasons. And how then do those people go out to the masses and say, "Hey, become a Republican. We're great. We're for you." It's a real contradiction, isn't it?
Paul, you nail it. And we all know some of those lackeys as I look down over my glasses at you. We could name names off the air. We won't name them on the air. We probably have all the same names on the list. And the amazing thing is, and this is something that I screamed, in fact, when I had Jack Ciattarelli on, I said these words to him and I hadn't heard after. I was like, please, you need to say this. Point out that all of the problems in New Jersey have to be blamed on the Democrats. Go down the list. New Jersey's Democrats control the governor, the assembly, the Senate, 9 of the 12 congressional seats, both Senate, U.S. Senate seats, the state Supreme Court, the top 15 largest cities controlled by Democrat mayors. Nothing can be blamed on Republicans. Yet we have the highest energy costs. We have the highest migration out of the state of any state in the United States. We have one of the largest per capita influxes of illegal aliens with nearly 1 million. We have some of the
Yep.
highest per capita student costs I should run for office, highest per capita student costs in schools, and yet we don't have the numbers to show for it in our inner city schools. I didn't hear this. I'm sorry. And Jack is a nice man, a lovely man. I didn't hear any of this screaming from the mountaintops from him. And I think that the Republicans need to get up there and start screaming this out of the top of their lungs, or they will never win again.
Ken, I couldn't agree with you more. And I love seeing the passion that you just brought to the table. That is exactly what we need, right? These polished 1990s political versions that we put out, the direct mail pieces that say a whole bunch of nothingness, they're not reaching people. They go immediately in the trash. Press releases, and not to get into your world, but press releases are a thing of the past. People want real politicians with real opinions that view the world that they do. If you're going to be a representative of the people, they expect you to look and act like them, right? But one of our biggest problems is we can't get out of our own damn way. So the new chairwoman here, Christine Hanlon, one of the first things that I'm going to be looking for from her is, how do you bring the warring factions together? If you do not bring the warring factions in New Jersey together,
I got it. Whoop. We didn't do that.
whether we want to call
Oh,
them
there we go. We just
rhinos.
Paul, I got to stop you only because your signal is now cutting in and out. We will have you back. I promise. We're going to do 2 segments if you want. Assemblyman Paul Kanitra, Republican representing New Jersey's 10th Legislative District. Thanks for coming out this morning. We'll have you back